His expression was unreadable, but there was a glint in his eyes that hadn't been there before. "I found something," he said, his voice low and grave. Naomi's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" Without a word, Ichiro gestured to the spot where he had been digging. Naomi's curiosity got the better of her, and she stepped closer. In the fading light, she could barely make out the shape of something buried in the dirt. Something old, covered in a thin layer of roots and soil. "Is it part of the fountain?" Naomi asked, her voice trembling slightly. Ichiro shook his head. "No, it's much older than that." Naomi crouched down, her hand brushing away some of the loose soil. Her fingers grazed something hard and cold. A piece of stone, perhaps. But as she cleared more of the dirt away, she realized it wasn't just a stone. It was a small, intricately carved box, its surface adorned with strange symbols that she didn't recognize. "What is this?" she whispered, more to herself than to Ichiro. Ichiro remained silent, his eyes fixed on the box. There was a tension in the air now, something thick and unspoken that made Naomi's skin crawl. She picked up the box, surprised by how heavy it was, and stood up. "I don't know," Ichiro finally said, his voice barely audible. "But it was buried deep. Someone didn't want it to be found. The secret's buried beneath." That night, after Ichiro left, Naomi sat at the kitchen table with Akira, the box placed between them. Neither of them knew what to make of it. The carvings on the box were intricate but worn, as though time had slowly eroded their meaning. Naomi traced her fingers over the symbols, trying to understand them, but they were unlike anything she had ever seen. "What do you think it is?" Akira asked, his brow furrowed. "I don't know," Naomi replied, her voice quiet. "But I can't help feeling like we weren't supposed to find it." Akira leaned back in his chair, his arms crossed. "It's probably just an old keepsake or something. The previous owners must have forgotten about it." Naomi wasn't so sure. There was something strange about the way Ichiro had reacted when he found the box. Something in his eyes that told her this wasn't just a forgotten trinket. But she didn't want to sound paranoid, so she kept her thoughts to herself. Later that night, long after Akira had gone to bed, Naomi couldn't sleep. She found herself drawn to the box, its presence in the house unsettling her. She crept downstairs, the house silent except for the soft hum of the refrigerator. The box sat on the table, bathed in the pale moonlight streaming through the window.